6. seed in this group, which is the, well, I don't think it's not, I think it's the Seattle Grizzlies. We'll check that in just a moment, as this one is Santan, and that one is whistled down. It was touched and goes out of bounds. Both of these teams, there's 6 teams in this Division II setup. 2 pools of 3. They'll play the Seattle Grizzlies a little bit later on. The winner will get to do that this afternoon, or later on this afternoon, so they'll have a longer break. The loser will have to come back and play them again in a couple of hours, and we'll check actually the schedule for you in just a moment. We should mention that thanks to our great volunteers, thanks to the Aussie Council here in the Phoenix area, and also thanks to Watch AFL, we'll have around-the-ground updates during the course of the day. The Seattle Grizzlies will play the loser of this game starting at 1 o'clock, and it looks like we've had another goal, and in fact we have. So Baltimore has kicked 2 straight goals to start. And the score on the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's Baltimore 2 goals straight 12, and Los Angeles 1 straight 6.
Looked like the ball, the drop actually was a little odd. It might have surprised himself that the trajectory of that kick was extremely low. I don't know if the man on the mark could have maybe gotten a touch on it. His teammates were a little surprised too. Nobody got around him right away. But in the box score in the morning, Brian, no one's going to know the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're back in the middle once again, and the conditions here, there's, I didn't get a chance to check, SARS, how much dew is on the field this morning?
It's wet enough. My feet weren't soaked walking across the ground, but enough the ball might be a little slick. You got to think with the dry conditions, the sun out, that'll burn off pretty fast, so I doubt it'll have a big impact.
Ball gets knocked down to O'Connor, who runs it back. Now handballs it forward, and this one is kicked long down the field. Good handball drill. Cafaholi for Baltimore. Big crash boom opera. Deflects to Moyer, who sends this one inside the 50-meter arc. It's going to bounce, but it is bounced through for a behind, and that's the first minor score of the game for either team. So Baltimore goes to 2-1-13. LA 1 straight 6.
On display there, again, LA's ability to get in and plug those lanes that Baltimore's targeting. Just a little fumbly, though, opened the door up again for that minor score. So if LA can still can steady and continue that rebounding, intercepting, I think they're going to stand up in this.
Around the grounds for Watch AFL on Field 2, DC 2-1-13, leading the Austin Crows reserves, no score. We'll have updates throughout the game, thanks to, as we say, our Arizona State volunteers throughout the afternoon.
Sam Murphy exerting himself there. Big fly, pack mark. They're going to need that today.
Off the hands there. Once again, that's Martin Del Campo. Ball gets knocked free. Kicked along the wing now as they try and shovel this one forward. And it's going to get picked up off this lush carpet. This one is sent inside the 50-meter arc. Going to take an awkward bounce, which handcuffs everybody. Jailbreak situation. Oh, what a good smother in front. Able to smother the ball before it went in, but a second opportunity. It looks like it has sailed across the face, and in fact it has, through for another behind. So again, on the Watch AFL scoreboard, LA goes to 1 goal, 1-7. 1 goal, 1 behind, 7 points. Baltimore is 2 goals, 1 behind, 13 points. Ball going to get kicked back in, again, thanks to our major sponsors, including Cooper's Beer, once again with us for the 26th year, and also Tasmanian. And in case you hadn't heard the news, Tasmanian has just committed to being a major partner of the USA through the year 2030. So great announcement coming out of that this weekend, and it's great to have a partner such as them, the home of the 19th AFL and AFLW team. Ball is stuck in the middle of this carpet here in Tucson, Arizona. This one is sent forward nicely there by Bryn Hansen, and the ball gets dropped in front. Paddled out of there nicely by Nick Zorro for LA, and the ball is it's a finger-breaking kick, probably killed a family of worms on the way through. Big swing to try and do it. That looked like Gaga for a minute. It looked like Israeli dodgeball. This one is sent in and just sails behind the stick for yet another behind. And again, on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Baltimore goes to 2-2-14, and LA still on 1-1-7. Brian Bowers alongside Dan Sarbacker, whose voice you're going to hear now.
Some contested ball in the middle there. I think this is the first really big sequence of that we've seen. Baltimore, just a little hungrier, was able to get another third forward 50 entry on that trip down the ground.
We mentioned that other game happening over on Field 2. That's a Division II game, and they've got San Diego in their group, and DC's lead is now out to 20-0. Again, that's for Watch AFL. Ball gets knocked down again on the far side. Going to get picked up by Isley Autry, who floats this ball through the air. There is nobody in the goal square except for, now the question is did he get to it before he went over? And in fact he did, and scurrying through was Frederick Schulin, who was there to concede the behind. So another point on the Watch AFL scoreboard as the Dockers now go to 2-3-15, LA or 1-1-7.
Frantic moment for the fullback there. He maybe wasn't aware the rush behind is not a problem. He almost handballed it back into danger, but had already crossed the line, so a point registered.
We have a game, the other game going on Field 3, just waiting for a score. No score just yet, as Minnesota is playing Portland. That's a Division III game. There are 8 teams in Division III. Ball's up on the far side now, and this one is handballed on, sent forward by the Dragons. And this one is off of one hand, goes to another, going to get set up, kicks this one towards a goal. This will be very helpful, and it is another major score. LA gets their second. And they have moved it back to within 2 points. They go to 2-1-13, Baltimore 2-3-15. We have a very, very good game here to start things off here in Tucson.
Yeah, back and forth battle. LA, a couple opportunities to kick in there from behind, and you're seeing their strategy building up that far side of the field. They're targeting Sam Murphy. They're getting him that ball in flight off of the kickouts, working up that far side. In that case, it took some efforts. Baltimore attempting to spoil that build-up, but LA was able to collect, gather, stay with the flow, and eventually get that forward 50 entry.
We see just to our right the 3 flags, as we always have. It's always a bit of a staple here at Nationals, the American, Aussie, and Canadian flags, even though we have some Canadian participants, no Canadian teams this year, but just looking at the flags, it is lightly fluttering at the moment, and the wind right now, as we check it through the little thing that we have on our wrist right here, it doesn't appear to be much of a factor. In fact, right now it says 3 miles per hour, so the wind shouldn't be much of a factor today. And SARS, the weather is going to get a little bit warmer. It's going to be warmer tomorrow, but this is great footy conditions right now.
Oh, it's beautiful. 15 headed to 25 for those of you that prefer things in Celsius. 62 when we balled up here this morning, headed towards 80, but clear skies, just beautiful, beautiful surface. So yeah, we're in for a treat.
And there was a lot of worry. I remember there being some groans when I was the one that announced that we were going to be in Tucson at last year's Nationals in Austin. I'll tell you what, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be a little warmer tomorrow, but this is very good. All the way back now, one-on-one contest, and again, that's Zorro, who is under pressure there from one of the Dockers, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Not a bad result for the Dockers, who lead by 2, 15-13 here in the first half.
Zorro's been busy back there at fullback under a lot of pressure. Baltimore's had a number of forward 50 entries that have caused him to really mop up in the back there.
Ball comes spinning back in the play, gets knocked down, going to get picked up and get it the heck out of there, out to the near side, off the hands of Martin Del Campo. Chasing it once again there is Vaca, and we have a whistle that looks like the trailing official made that call, but it went out of bounds first, and there'll be a boundary throw in about, we'll call that 50 meters around. Dockers Division IV champions in 2018, went all the way up to D2 and made the grand final in 2019 before losing to San Diego as the ball again goes out of bounds. And we've talked about, I just want to shout out the folks here at the Kino Sports Complex and also Visit Tucson, who's one of our major sponsors this year. This field is, I mean, there's nothing to not like about this ground.
Oh, it's exceptional. They've got the most strips in here for us, so there's added visual appeal. They got the striping out for the big sponsors, so big thanks to Tasmanian, of course, and Cooper's that continue to support the league.
in the way that they do, and you're seeing those logos, their names on the broadcast. So, yeah, Kino's done an absolute job laying out the welcome mat for us.
Absolutely, and I was going to say, this carpet, it kind of reminds me of what my grandparents had in their living room in the 70s. It's that lush. It might make bouncing a little interesting. I think a lot of people, there was folks out here at the welcome ceremony last night who they had the opportunity to see the ground and really kind of run it, and I think a lot of what was looked at was the bounce. That is a nice mark taken over the top, and the Dragons will have a chance to take the lead here.
Looks like Mander with the mark inside 50 there, Nathan Mander. Big unit up at full forward.
So we have 15-14. The scoreboard has 14-13. They may have missed a behind in there, but we'll double check at halftime. As this one is sent up on the way, it is dead center perfect. LA has the lead through Nathan Mander, and the Dragons hit the front. 3-1-19 LA, 2-3-15 Baltimore. Watch AFL scoreboard midway first half.
Well, the back and forth affair continues. Brian, we might need those extra time rules here. We'll keep those handy after halftime, see how this plays out. But a great seesaw affair. LA's starting to flex their muscle a little bit. They've been able to connect a few things. Sam Murphy's been really key for them. By my count, it's taken 3 or 4 contested marks at this point, some of them out of the kickouts from goal. They've been working through him and then finding ways to build up the sides. That they prefer that far side, it seems, and that's where they've generated their offensive production.
So we should mention the extra time, as SARS mentioned. This game or the next game, because of the dynamic scheduling, it is still pool play. If the game is still a draw, if the game is a draw at the end of 40 minutes, it will go into the record books as a draw. However, there must be a winner to determine who essentially gets the bye in round 2 and who plays later on. There will be extra time, but again, irrespective of that, if the game is tied after 40 minutes, it will go in the books as a tie. It is a little different, but it only applies for the first 2 games on this field here in Division 2 and as well as in Division 1.
Creates an interesting wrinkle for the athletes. They know their first game time and can prepare for that. They know their first opponent, but they won't know their second until the first few games finish.
And I've asked a couple of the players what they've thought of that, and they said as a player that they enjoy it because it does add that little bit of extra carrot. You're playing for essentially an extra 3 hours off. Now, if you're organizing things, it does kind of throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in there because you have to plan when you're going to eat, when you're going to recover. You almost have to make contingency plans. You have to make a plan for both. Isley Autry gets a free kick. He is standing roughly about 90 meters from goal as he sends this one up, and it is marked defensively. Oh no, it wasn't paid as a mark, taken again by Shulene. And Shulene, who has been on this LA Dragons team as long as one can remember, is wrapped up for Christmas, and it looks like there will be a ball up about 40 meters out. The Dragons were a spin-off of the Orange County Bombers, as they were known at the time. They're now the Giants. First came into play in 2010 and went straight into Division 2, and I should know because I was on the other end of a couple of those, and they went up into Division 1. In fact, made the Division I Grand Final, lost to Golden Gate. That was in 2017, the only time the Austin Crows have not been involved in the men's Division I Grand Final. And then you had as a free kick has been awarded to LA.
17, William Twizzle getting up a little slowly there. Looked like he either took a knock to the knee or maybe a corky in the thigh. Low, pretty aggressive low contact there.
Free kick now coming on the way for Baltimore. It is, did it make it all the way? I think it did. That was Zachary Iverson, who looked like Allen Iverson on that. And here in Arizona, we're talking about cactus, man, as that one is kicked through for a goal, and Baltimore gets another one, and they are back on top on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Well, Brian, if no one had their caffeine this morning, they're not going to need it. Look at this game. What a seesaw effort, back and forth. I don't know how many lead changes we've had already, but they just keep trading punches out there.
Second lead change, I believe, because Baltimore had the lead. They were up it would have been 15-13, and now they've both traded goals. So 3-3-21 for Baltimore and 3-1-19 for LA. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard. As we go around the grounds, DC leading Austin 26-1. Ball is up on the far side, and it will be out of the ruck. It'll be a free kick. The ball is sent in, up over the top, knocked down.
Nice spoil there by
Cafaholi.
Shabani.
Yeah, and Cafaholi was there as 2 for Baltimore. Going to be sent in, but again, it's marked. And again, I believe that was Zaro, who either Zaro or Shulene, who came across. Dragons are a team who play pretty tight defensively. Baltimore generally plays a whole bunch of games during the season. They played 13 this year, I believe. As the ball gets knocked down, going to get kicked around. Now going to get taken through, going to get shoved backwards, and going to get picked up now by Cafaholi, who is taken down from behind, just got the kick away, handballed up over the top, and it is wrapped up there on the far side by Michael Gilbert, and again we'll have a ball in on the intense side of the field because there are people over there intense.
Not sure, Brian, if it's you or me. They just seem allergic to this side of the field, but them being close to the boundaries over there, the coaches are probably getting the message out. Less than a minute here. We'll see if anyone can convert the play or if it gets locked up in the middle.
I did take a shower today. I don't know about anybody else.
It might be me then.
It might be you. As the ball comes spinning back in the play, or is about to be sent back in, you see the players there, and again it'll be a ball up on that far side as it was a tie-up. Murphy's able to win the hit out. It didn't end up being to advantage as this one goes in the middle of the ground. I believe it was Cafaholi who got there, and in fact it wasn't. It was John O'Connor, and trying to paddle that one back. There's the siren. There's the first half. A back and forth affair, and we'll double check what we have vis-a-vis the scoreboard, but on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Baltimore has a 2-point lead. It's the Dockers 3-3-21, LA Dragons 3-1-19, and it does very much remind me, SARS, of 2 prize fighters just kind of feeling each other out in the first couple of rounds. These 2 teams know they have another game later on. There is, like we said, the stakes of getting a little bit more of a rest. But so far, it's been a good contest.
Yeah, no surprise. First game of the day. A lot of folks would have flown in last night, possibly getting in late. May not have even seen the facilities yet. So getting here, they're feeling each other out. But what's been impressive, actually, is both teams' ability to rebound. They've taken their chances. I think LA has had success off of the intercept marks and rebounding and/or the goal kicks building up that far side. Baltimore's probably generated a little more run off of spoils, miscues, chaos balls, where they've been able to collect hard balls in the middle of the ground and rebound those.
And it's been that sort of game so far, and we'll see how it goes when we return on the other side of this break. Once again, here on Field 1, the Baltimore Dockers leading 21-19. We'll step aside and return. You're watching the 2025 USAFL National Championships from Tucson, Arizona, here on AussieRulesUSA.com. Back here at the Kino South Sports Complex in Tucson, Arizona, the 2025 USAFL National Championships. You have to get ready for the second half of this opening game of Men's Division II as the Baltimore Dockers lead the LA Dragons 3 goals, 3 behinds, 21 points to 3-1-19. Brian Barish back here with Dan Sarbacker. And Sars, the second half, I think, will be interesting to see if either team makes any adjustments or if both coaches were happy with how things were.
Yeah, both sides hit the scoreboard, of course. Both sides had opportunities, probably a couple things to dust up on defense both ways. So, yeah, we'll see what adjustments make at halftime.
The ball is underway in the air once again. Now the LA Dragons heading towards the highway end to our right, as that was Matt Rourke who was in there, who got taken down. The Baltimore Dockers kicking to the left of screen. We're calling that the pickleball end because they like pickleball here in Arizona. That's the thing, as we get tied up once again.
No space today. We're filling the park.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I think we can recruit some of these pickleballers, though, to play Aussie rules. I think the Arizona Hawks wouldn't mind. Or we could see a second coming of the Tucson Javelinas, who played down here for 5 seasons. Martin Coventry, who is, we'll see him with the Portland Steelheads at one point. He played for those Javelinas at one point. One of his, I think he's up to 250 or so games, maybe close to 300 at this point. I don't know. Marto will probably come over and tell me. I'm sure I'll get a message from him if he's with
Jesse Galston in a tackle there, right inside 50. Really, if there were adjustments made at halftime, we're seeing it. Right, the pressure is increased. That immediate tackling, nobody's had space to play off these ruck taps.
Yeah, and I think both teams have really gotten the same message here. Jesse Galston, the former Boston Demon, as this ball is tied up once again. A lot of stoppages and a lot of pressure here, and you can see the umpire telling them to back off. Autry is in there. He's given up about half a foot on, or maybe even a little bit less. It's all the same from here against Big Sam Murphy, and we'll have our third consecutive ball up as the ball is creeping towards the LA Dragons target, or towards the Baltimore target, as this one gets knocked down. Shot off the deck as that one goes out of bounds in the pocket. And again, a lot of congested play, no room to really do anything.
And that's precisely right. That's what it's going to take. If the message at halftime was we need to put more pressure on, we need hotter tackles, right off those ruck taps, when it's gummed up like that, if you have just the tiniest window of opportunity to throw the ball to boot or hand and get it out of that pack, that's where it's going to be successful because you'll free up into open space.
As the ball goes up through the top of the head, there's a chance for goal once again, and that one will sail off. And the question is whether or not that went out of bounds on the full or not, and I believe it has. The umpire pointing to the ground, signaling a free kick for the LA Dragons. This portion of today's game is brought to you by Tasmanian, our major sponsor. Tasmania was featured in Lonely Planet's Best in Travel 2025 guide, recognized as one of the top destinations for immersive nature, food, and cultural experiences. As the ball goes down, and here is once again a chance for the Dockers. Big tackle thrown in there, and getting taken down from behind was Callahan for LA. And another big tackle, and it's starting to pick up a little bit in intensity. Not getting in the chippy territory so far, but you got to be careful because one little thing could set something off.
Yeah, just a hint of a smell of wet grass and desperation there in the back end of the field. The tackling's hot, isn't it? Like they are desperate to try to keep that ball away from the goals.
I'm pretty sure that's the deodorant I use, which is wet grass and desperation. As the ball gets knocked down, they get hit back in. As this one, again, the Dockers right on the doorstep. LA, I think, looking to try and concede the behind, and they do, as back there, once again, was Andy Loke for the Dragons. And Baltimore gets the first score of this second half on the Watch AFL scoreboard. They go to 3-4-22. And LA 3-1-19 around the grounds for Watch AFL over on Field 2. Second half in Division 2, DC leading the Austin Reserves 26-1.
Played on a little too quickly there. They're going to redo the kick out. If you're Baltimore, you're doing the exact thing you want to do. You lock it in until you get that major score. They keep probing. LA also getting what they want. Bend, don't break, and then find ways once you get possession again to try to build out. And this has been their strategy up their left side.
Out the left side they come, off the hands there, sifting through the defender. There is Bork, and this one is sent through. It is Bork. That is a famous name in Aussie rules. As the ball gets taken down on the far side now. There's a big dog pile in there. And the ball just stayed in play, and it is now out of the goal. I'll tell you what, that was awful.
18 plays on quickly there. That's Matt Bork, like you said, right in front of us here. He was keen to go quickly. They realize once they've built up, at least through midfield, they want to start playing quickly into the forwards. They've been more patient in the back. They love targeting that left side, the Dragons. It was successful for them there, where they actually able to almost execute a switch. They'd kicked out to the right initially, but actually came around the left side on the restart.
Said that was a famous name in Aussie rules. Francis Bork, of course, who played for the Richmond Tigers way back in the day. That's what it evokes memories of. Ball comes swinging back into play, and it gets taken down to get knocked backwards. Over the back, Kappa Holy is there. Get the heck out of there. Does the near side ball in contest. Get taken down, picked up by Martin. Near side for Bork. Fades a handball, tries to shove. Two players play and almost comes right to our girls as he was walking a battle with Jake Moyer right in front of the commentary position. Thanks to Monty and all of the crew here for bringing you the pictures live from Tucson.
Former Revel player Jake Moyer ran that opponent right out of bounds. Wasn't fended off as Bork had hoped there.
Tell you what, we got a very composed throw, and that is a great shot from our ISO camera right in front of us. Just what it takes to do those boundary throw-ins. Those happen if you're new to Aussie rules football. Whenever the ball goes out of bounds, it's carried out, or if it bounces out, if it's kicked straight out on the fly, it's a free kick to the other team. Kind of like in soccer, as the ball comes back in play, and goes with a big tackle put in as Walters was able to spoil the kick for the Dockers as the Dragons were trying to retake the lead here. It's been a while since they've been back on top. They trail by 3 points, half a goal, as Rex Hunt would say. Big tackle up on the far side. And this one is going to get picked up.
They really truly are taking turns, Brian. There we just saw the sequence where Baltimore under the pump in their own back 50 and had to be hot on the tackles to make sure that they didn't concede.
And there is a free kick given away there by Sorrow on Kappa Holy. Kappa Holy and Bard who come together. So here is the Albanian born Val Kappa Holy, who is in the 50-meter mark, sends this one on the way. His team kicks like it, and so does the goal umpire. Going to the Dockers, and they extend their lead on the Rock NFL scoreboard. 4-4-28 Baltimore, 3-1-19 LA. And in a game that has been ziggy and zaggy, that may be a little bit of a breakthrough for the Dock Show.
Yeah, I agree, Brian. Geez, I had nearly uttered, what's going to break this stalemate open, and I hope it isn't just a tiny bit of sloppiness that results in a free kick, but that was it there. That actually it played out before I could even mention it. Free kick resulting in the goal. There have been very, very few in the game thus far, and a back and forth affair. These two clubs just trading punches.
Dragons almost taking the mark off his fingertips, probably had a jab finger in there too. Big wrestling match happening in there. Everybody forgot about the little red pill sliding through his Brent Hansen, the Perth native and former Philadelphia Hawk. That one goes in there once again. A big tackle as Galston was there and got sent backwards on his toes. The umpire in McLaren comes over. Once again, we'll have the ball up just inside Baltimore, just inside LA territory. Murphy wins the hit out, wasn't to advantage, however, as Baltimore was first to it. The umpire crosses his arms like the Monsignor. We're going to do it all one more time.
Geez, Autry, what a leaper. There's not too many people that can tap over the top of Sam Murphy, but he's got Sam on his heels, and I think he might have just conceded one there. Yeah, he did. So that's a sign of frustration from Sam Murphy. He went and pushed him in the back. Autry's been able to out-leap him and out-tap him a couple times. That's probably really uncomfortable for Sam. He doesn't get out-rucked very often, and you're seeing the result in the little bit of frustration in the free kick. Umpires are working hard. They got a good sweat going here. You see it up close here on the broadcast. Our crew doing an awesome job. So the day is warming up. The sun's hot, and the end-to-end affair here has had the boundary umpires putting some miles on. Geez, nice mark in the contested mark there, down getting into the pocket. Now we're going to get that entry into 50 in the center.
Far side, and then watch AFL scoreboard. It is Baltimore 4-4-28, LA 3-1-19. Around the grounds for watch AFL. Also in Division 2, DC 4-2-26, Austin 1-1-7.
Sam Murphy working his way into front position on that boundary throw. He wants to get more active in the ruck, turn the tides again in favor of his team.
Sends this one towards the goal. That could be a Tasmanian play of the day. Now Capaholi got impaled in his chest with the ball. Got it on the second bite of the cherry, ran on and kicked a spectacular goal. And the Dockers are well and firmly in control now on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 5-4-34 to LA 3-1-19.
Apologies, number 11 here, right on the wing, was key in a couple of plays recently. We don't have his name listed, so apologies to his mom and grandma and girlfriend who are probably watching. But some really key play here, right in front of us here from 11 on the wing to get that ball back, entered into forward 50.
Division 3 action. Charlie from Sydney doing great work for us here in the tent, not only keeping us abreast of what's happening here, but also helping us around the grounds. Again, that's for Watch AFL, and a thanks again to Watch AFL, Cooper's Tasmanian, and everybody else bringing you today's action from Tucson. Ball's up on the far side once again, gets taken down, and a lot of shouting, a lot of yelling.
Oh, big collision in the middle of the field there. Two bodies intent on that football. It was a clean hit. Brian Hansen, fantastic mark going back with the football there. Hansen looks like he's connecting through Moyer maybe on the far side.
Introduced him to the concept of sausage gravy in Tampa during a game once. He's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's delicious. That's what it is." And speaking of delicious, it's been a bit of a delicious start so far for the Dockers, who again lead now out to 15 points, 34-19, and the Dragons, who, as we said, hang on, just make sure. Yep, 34-19. Big tackle put in, and umpire McLaren said there was no prior opportunity, and both players had a fair go at the ball.
Great result for LA, the tie-up inside 50 there, so they get the ball up here on their terms.
As Captain Michael Horney, we make no jokes about him, as there's a left-footed kick up on the way. Horney trying to knock this one through. He is a very excitable young man, as this one is handballed up on the far side, and the ball goes out of bounds. We remember what happened to the Manly and what's his name? Manly and a Sleepy show. The ball goes out of bounds.
A touch more levity on their broadcast back in the day.
That is the perfect way to put it. Thank you so much. There was a little bit more levity in their particular broadcast, whereas
you actually call the game. I'm not sure we got much of a play.
I was going to say. Listen, I'm happy to go into that particular brand of comedy when I don't have a microphone shoved in my face, as the ball's up on the far side.
Shout out to Kyle and Eric if they're listening.
Kick is up on the way. Did they get one back? They did. LA's got one back. And the margin, it's not quite over, Red Rover. LA goes to 4-1-25, back to 9 points. And Baltimore 5-4-34. And again we go around the grounds. We'll do that in just a moment, Dan Sarbacker.
Yeah, against the flow of play there, LA getting a goal. The Doctors really pretty resilient, but conceding one there, and I think was really on the efforts of the LA forwards, making sure that ball once inside 50 wasn't going to leave till they got a goal. Autry here with an awesome tap, took it himself, and a fantastic effort from Gabe to apply the tackle. Gabe plays on immediately. Oh, players asking for a throw, and they're going to get it. Yep, that absolutely was. Shoveled it along the ground, not with an open hand or a slap. You really kind of corralled that more like a throw, and the umpire correctly paid that one.
Yeah, the umpires, we should mention them, of course, led by tournament director Jeff Person. They have come from literally all over the place. We have a bunch have come over from Australia. A couple have come down from Canada. Of course, our home umpires here in the USAFL doing a fantastic job. Not only doing the field umpires, but the goal umpires and the boundary as well. As we will have a ball, as we have a free kick to the Baltimore Dockers, who again, they still lead by 9 points. As this one comes up on the far sideline. I don't know, barring a lot of misses, we may not, well, it's way out of bounds as he carried that one and then I don't think quite realized where he was, the man in Ryan Brubaker. And that has gone over the boundary line and out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
John O'Connor there flew up against Gabe Del Campo. Massive collision in the air. O'Connor came down there a bit rough. Not even sure what. He's a bit sore. And maybe on the hip.
Whatever it is, that's a big loss for them.
We're going to find out.
Stars will keep an eye on that for just a moment. I'll keep an eye on the ball, which is on the wing position commentary side. The ball spins through like some sort of like hummingbird type thing. Do they have those down here? I guess maybe. I don't know. They had some bird that I checked out on Merlin as the ball gets knocked down. I forgot what it was. It was like a ring-tailed flibber-bubber as the ball's up on the far side.
Something's got to sip on those cactus flowers, right?
Yeah, right, absolutely.
There's some beautiful jacarandas. There's a couple other things in bloom right now. It's beautiful.
We were talking about that. They have those in Australia.
Yeah, there's some gum jacarandas, and some gum trees here too. Yeah, so there's some familiar flora if you're an Aussie visiting the national tournament this year.
I mean, you know, we want everybody to feel at home here as the ball's up on the far side. We have a lot of special guests, a few special guests, including a couple of patrons of the USAFL, guys who are involved in the Australia Advisory Committee, Tony Fairhead and Rod Bunkle. I know we were both talking to them last night. I haven't seen them, I think, since I was last in Australia, which was in 2017. So it's good. It was good to see them.
Oh, fantastic! And they're both just top blokes.
Yeah, they really are. I think they're both big fans. They're both charter members, I think, of the Brian Barish fan club. So there's that too. As the ball gets thrown back into play once again. This is Division II. We have 7 divisions across men's and women's, and that's all thanks to our major sponsors, including Tasmania. Whether you're exploring nature or enjoying a glass of sparkling, Tasmania offers something truly distinctive. Tasmania, again, with us through the year 2030. Ball will come kicked in through towards the sticks, and that one has gone off to the side for another behind. Watch AFL scoreboard. LA chipping away at that lead. They go on to 4-2-26. It's back to 8 points. Baltimore is 5-4-34. We owe you an around the grounds, and we'll do that now. Still in the second half. It's in D2. It's DC 4-2-26, leading Austin 1-1-7. Over on Field 3 in D3, Minnesota 9-6-60 leads Portland 2-1-13. That's the second half score.
No fans, Brian. No stands at the end of the grounds to throw the football back when it gets kicked well past the field. LA trying to save some time, went and chased it themselves to get it back in for a quicker restart.
I think what might end up happening, SARS, is you might end up seeing, and I can't get a good, I think there's plenty of room back to our right, but on the left, I think you might need to have somebody stationed, whether it's from one of the teams or from the league or whomever. It would be good to have a couple of people stationed back behind, because we should remind folks, the clock, unless there's a major injury, clock does not stop. It keeps running throughout the entire of these 2 20-minute halves. So that's something that perhaps if you're watching back in Australia is new. LA is on the prowl once again, trying to breathe some fire into this match. But again, it's only through for 1 point. And again, they are knocking on heaven's door, but St. Peter won't let them in. They go to 4-3-27, back to 7 points. 5-4-34 for the Baltimore Dockers here in the second half.
About a minute remaining. They need a goal plus, so they've got to strike quickly if they're going to get them.
Thunder Fire, what is it? Thunder Fire Strike is the go team.
The best for them would be to get it behind because you don't have to travel up the field from the middle of the ground. So get it behind and then get a goal if they can.
Ball gets off that. That was Marr who was interfered with, it looks like, in the contest. And they're very slow at getting the ball back. Marr's got to play quickly off the side of his foot. Will the clock strike 12 for the Dragons? That's the question as the ball gets knocked down. Remember, 2 of the 3 teams in this group, Seattle is in there as well. As the ball gets taken down.
Let's see, we might have had a whistle before that siren. Did he take him high?
Well, I mean, it'll matter for percentage if they get a free kick. Or will LA, but it looks like that is the final siren, and the Baltimore Dockers have begun their 2025 Nationals campaign with a victory. It wasn't an easy victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's the Baltimore Dockers 5-4-34, the LA Dragons 4-3-27. So the Dockers are 1-0. They will get the afternoon off, and at 1 p.m., the Seattle Grizzlies, they should be taking on the LA Dragons. Oh goodness! All right, I'll have to fix the spreadsheet. While the LA Dragons will the Dockers will come back later on, and they will play at 5 p.m. Yeah, I have that backwards. So. But the Dockers are the winners today, and that was a very, very hard-fought game here, and the Dockers came out victors.
Well, wake up, because if you're not ready, it is full on. What a great match, Brian. We saw an absolutely great game for the first one of the morning here. Hotly contested. Both sides felt each other out, but were productive in the first half. It wasn't a lack of scoring while they were getting the feel for the game. Traded goals early. I think in the end, what made the difference. Autry, his leaping ability in the middle of the ruck, changed the tide of the game a little bit for Baltimore, got them moving forward a little bit, frustrated Sam Murphy just enough to disrupt things. Baltimore just a little bit scrappier, was able to spoil a couple of mark opportunities, and in the end just capitalized a little bit better on some of the free play where there's no discernible possession. They were able to establish possession and move forward. LA, tons of success building up, but in the end just wasn't enough.
And and it's a great early victory for the Dockers. Just running through the other scores again, these are finals in the other D2 match. DC defeating Austin 26-7. DC will get the long break while the Crows reserves will come back against the Lions in that group. And from Division 3, Minnesota defeats Portland 9-6-60 to 2-1-13. A quick look at our games happening right here on Field 1. Men's Division 1 will be the New York Magpies and the Sacramento Suns. Over on Field 2, it'll be the Golden Gate Roos and Houston Lone Stars. Field 3, Division 3, North Texas will play Boston/Philly. And Division 4, on Field 4, Oklahoma will play Wasatch, and Virginia will take on Baton Rouge in the opening game of Division 5. We'll be right back here on Field 1 for New York and Sacramento in D1 play. When we return, you're watching the 2025 USAFL National Championships here on AussieRulesUSA.com.
Looking good. Yeah. You guys got water coming around?
I got some. I put some right there.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Thank
I
you.
know you were busy.
Hey, Jerry. Have you got any tape? Tape? Anything. Just trying to get my umbrella to keep